Hi guys and welcome back to another video. So today I've got some footage that was taken in the Dolomite Mountains in northern Italy, and this was during a 10-day Jesuit retreat slash workshop. The title was Faith and Politics, and it was combined with another workshop called Trails of the Heart, which was more kind of interior spiritual um, direction. There was about 80 of us all together. Mainly it was Italians with I think about 10 Croatians and a handful of Irish and myself being the only Englishman. And it was a wonderful opportunity to, in a stunning location, we were able to do some hikes, which I've managed to capture some footage of as well. But it was workshops where we were talking about social justice, public involvement in the political sphere. We had some excellent keynotes from a range of speakers, some accomplished politicians, an economist, and various people with experience in NGOs and those working in the European Parliament as well. So it's mainly under 35s. I was one of the eldest members of the group, but people drawn from all walks of life, people from the armed forces, people from education, people from public service, local democracy, law, and of course, formal politics. So it was a really wonderful chance to reflect on the Christian witness, the Christian mission, which is to be involved in the world, to be light and salt. And so it was with all this kind of knowledge, all these discussions, there was a lot of very interactive workshops as well, a lot of reflection groups, discussion groups, a lot of talking. Aside from the hikes, it was so important to get outside and make the most of the surroundings. So I did manage to get out on a few occasions. And you can see here now I'm doing a bit of exercise in one of the purpose-built kind of fitness areas they've got. And so the Dolomites, of course, is made up of a valley, mountain range, and there's one long singular road that leads into it from the main city of Bolzano, which is where you get the train into, and then via Val Cristina, which is the village where the retreat house was, is about an hour and 20 minutes on the bus. And in the winter, of course, it's a really excellent skiing resort and location for mountain sports as well. And in the summer, it becomes kind of a hiking and trail running paradise. And also, you do see a lot of mountain bikers as well. Particularly now, electric mountain bikes have become more popular. You see a lot of people on those. So you can see here now, I managed to get out on a run every single morning that I was there. And this is one morning later in the trip when it was kind of rained a little bit. It was looking quite green as well. It was a wonderful opportunity to spend time with people from different backgrounds, different cultures, nationalities. And there was a couple of excellent runners in the group as well. There was a really fantastic sprinter, so I managed to um, talk about that and get a few tips for sprinting. And then there was a very accomplished mountain runner from Spain, phenomenally um, phenomenally good mountain runner, and so went out together on a few mornings as well. So the fellowship, keeping fit, keeping active, was really enjoyable. The food they served was very high quality, as you can imagine, in the mountains. Particularly this area is known for kind of the dairy and the yogurt as well. That was a real highlight. The fresh yogurt for breakfast, which was locally sourced as well as the fruit, and of course the wines as well. It's quite a wine-going region. If you go out to the Dolomites towards Bolzano and a bit south towards Verona, you do see quite a few vineyards as well. So it was a nice opportunity to step away in the middle of the summer, and the temperature was about 5 degrees cooler than it was in the rest of Italy. So I'd come from previously, I'd spent a couple of weeks in southern Italy, so I did find it noticeably cooler as well. And I did manage to get some videos of the hikes we did as a group. and it was enjoyable being in a group because although the pace is quite a bit slower, as you can imagine, it's an excellent opportunity to talk and to hear about people's work and about their lives as well. One highlight was the amount of crucifixes dotted around the valley. Pretty much every village green, many of the houses, and would have a large crucifix outside. Um, so testifying to the fact it's a deeply Catholic area. And we did actually get the opportunity to go into Bolzano and to take a tour around with a Jesuit priest who was able to explain to us the unique heritage of the city, which is right on the intersection of Italy, Austria, and Germany, and how its kind of cultural identity has been shaped by those tensions and moving from being part of Germany to being part of Italy to be almost being Austrian, and having a blend of the different architectures and cultures, and how language itself played such an important role in shaping the identity of the city. We also heard about tourism and overdevelopment and the problem that mass tourism brings to the communities, and how the locals are fighting back and trying to um, trying to protect it and preserve its unique cultural status. It's of course UNESCO protected as well, and I believe there's a ski uh, global ski competition coming up in the next few years there or so um, as well. So yeah, it's just an wonderful opportunity to explore, to get outside. The air was incredibly fresh, that high up in the mountains as well, and the trails very lush, green, and a lot of hills, but um, kind of the change of scenery and the interesting features, the landscape did make it quite enjoyable running up and down the hills as well. But I can imagine living there, you would get incredibly fit, and many of the locals as well looked quite active and quite sort of having real outdoor interests as well. So it was 10 days in the Dolomites, varied schedule. I would say overall, I think there was 6 or 7 days of workshops and seminars, lectures, and kind of discussion groups, breakout groups. There was daily mass, which was a real highlight, and of course, I think there was 5 Jesuit priests there who alternated celebrating mass for us. Then we did morning prayer as well each day, and for the 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we alternated, and there was a rota of in which we all had to play a role in serving, cleaning as well, which was a good opportunity to serve the fellow participants as well. And one of the most interesting aspects was role play we had to do, simulating an EU discussion on a piece of legislation, and each person in the group, in pairs, we were assigned a different country, a member state that we had to negotiate on behalf of, and we spent the afternoon uh, going back and forth in meetings, delegations, forming partnerships, alliances, in order to further our specific aims and objectives of the nation state we were called to represent. And then finally we came back together and in a sort of almost like a model United Nations conference, and we were called to vote and decide on the outcome as well. So really interesting insight into politics, and of course, having had some experience in local politics, um, was incredibly interesting to hear about other young people, young Catholics from across Europe, their insights and experiences as well. And also, it did motivate and inspire me to want to get involved back in the UK. Hearing the testimonies of the fellow participants as well, many of them had either returned to their faith or had a kind of conversion experience that was quite inspiring to hear about that as well. So it was just a wonderful time of faith, fellowship, and discussion on politics as well. The Dolomite Mountains were incredibly inspiring, incredibly beautiful backdrop. I believe this course, the Global Faith and Politics, run by the Jesuit Centres as a partnership across Europe, Normally, it was normally held in Venice every 2 years. So this is the first time it's held in the Dolomites, and it's in three villas: Villa Capriola in Selva. And we were told on the first day that the villa itself was the donation of a Italian couple who gifted it to the Society of Jesus to use it as a retreat house. And so, although it's hosted many retreats, I believe this was the first time that the Faith and Politics course was being held there. As you'll see in further video, it's a wonderful location with volleyball court, basketball court, nice gardens, and quite big lounges, and the bar area as well, so you can relax and enjoy some good company as well. It was almost like a ski chalet, so the rooms were quite basic, and certainly sharing a room with 5 people as well was quite crowded, but you did certainly get to know people quite well by the end of it. Another thing was the rain towards the end, which meant drying things like coats and clothes and boots, because everything got completely soaked through. That was kind of a challenge as well. But overall, a really wholesome, encouraging, inspiring experience. Certainly blending it with the Ignatian spirituality, which is a lot of reflection on your interior state and on basically paying attention to the forces that move you and how you feel upon reflection on your actions at the end of the day, and using that to discern whether it brings peace or it unsettles you, and using that to discern the will of God for your life. So I came away, I suppose, more informed and strengthened in the Ignatian tradition, something that I've only discovered fairly recently, but I would encourage anyone who's asking questions about discernment, what to do with their life, which direction to go. The discernment of the Ignatian method is incredibly clarifying, incredibly enlightening, and it's incredibly simple as well. So yeah, I've gained immensely from it, and certainly having access to the priests for the sacrament of confession, having regular spiritual input, and each day was started with a kind of a talk on an aspect of the Ignatian spirituality, was a real had a real richness to it, and far more than I could have expected. And so in this short little clip of some running around and a bit of exercise, I've tried to capture my initial thoughts. I got back 2 a.m. on Sunday, so 4 days ago, from this. So these are my initial reflections, and hopefully some videos of the hikes and more of what we go up to can follow. But for now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll leave some links in the description of the Global Faith and Politics and the Villa Capriola. Thanks for watching. God bless.